Welcome everybody again to Pancho Crystal Skull Hour here on JJLNradio.info with our guest this evening. We've got will.i.am. We're also, I have the pleasure to be here with the beautiful daughters of Kayama, with Juanita, with Sasha, and with July, and with our good friend and wonderful guy, Jared. We're going to continue talking a little bit more with will.i.am. You know, one of the most fascinating experiences that I've had in my life, honestly, was the night that we had ceremony on Tuesday night in Hollandale, Florida. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, and it was like, I get it now why Pancho's in my life and the road that I'm on, and I appreciate all you guys who were there kind of taking me through it. That night we did a ceremony, and in that ceremony you also received messages from Pancho, and you shared that with the group that was there. Would you be so kind as to share the messages that you received from Pancho that night with our audience?
Sure. And do my best to remember with my heart, because it's a different kind of memory that Pancho invites us to become familiar with. And it's not that same type of memory which places everything in the distinction of fact or fiction. It's an open type of memory that invites us to access randomly as we require it. So I'm going to open my heart to that possibility. And to tune in to reading energy, you find an emotion, a connection, a vibration which really reminds you of what's there inside, in the deepest layer, beneath all of the appearance of what surrounds. And deep beneath the appearance of what we see when we wake is this subtle pulse between our innermost hearts, the hearts of our souls. And when I first started receiving that pulse from Pancho, I knew that this was a playful spirit. Though what is unique is very rarely do you find a playful spirit who has the level of wisdom that is present in this being we call Pancho. And that level of wisdom and its connection to the youthfulness is something that really began changing my relationship to myself, knowing that just to connect on a deeper level, I have to become more of what it is that I really do honor and love about this being that I am feeling when I connect with Pancho. And when I first started connecting with that feeling, it was clear to me that this is a being who cares, that this is a being who has been in a deep commitment for a long time with its relationship to our life and our cycle. So that respect allowed me to give it the attention necessary to receive the blessing of the gift of a message or a signal. Many messages have I received, those simple, a few complex, and also complex. One of the most simplest messages, which were also the most important, was Pancho told me in my heart that your father is my father. And looked at the sun and invited me to look at the sun. And when I looked into the sun and I looked at our father, Kanichahao, this great wise being who sits like a very majestic form covered in all kinds of amazing codes in galactic designs in his golden garment, sitting with this ceremonial dress as the magnetic wavelength of the solar plane where we live. And I can see that there is a great love and a great connection that is already aware of us, and Pancho wants us to open to what is already here, wants us to know that there's nothing to look for, that we're never going to have any more or less than what we have, and every moment that our hearts is open. And Pancho is here to remind us that there is no holding on to the illusion that we create that can provide any safety or sanity. There's only letting go and being in the flow and trusting the changes which pass through all of the creation. And bending within our hearts in ways that are harmonious and making sure we have the flexibility in our minds. And to open that flexibility, we need to heal our relationships. And Pancho is most certainly very much focused in that.
And back again, when I hear you talk, I'm just mesmerized. I don't even want to ask any questions. And I'm also thinking that anybody who's listening and receiving this information that is coming from Pancho through you to our audience and even to me, I was thinking earlier, I mentioned about my relationship with the earth and relationship with my mother, and as you were talking about the father, the name of the father is, what you said?
Grandfather, son,
Ganesha How. Is that a Mayan name?
Indeed it is.
It's a Mayan name, and absolutely fascinating. My family is from the Yucatan. Mayan blood runs through my veins. And ever since I've had Pancho here, I walked in the dark for so many years, just clueless about everything. And ever since I've had Pancho in my life, it's like I'm walking in the light and being more open to the Son and being more open to the Father. And again, my relationship with my father, my physical father, has transformed. So I get it in a real personal level, how Pancho what Pancho has done for me, and I get it on a galactical level of what Pancho is doing for all of us and how Pancho is affecting every single one of us right now. I talked to a crystal skull researcher who told me that there's no mistake. I mean, it's just perfect timing that Pancho has come out right now, specifically at this time when we're entering this shift. I want to talk a little bit more about the shift, and I know that a lot of our listening audience, and not just the listening audience, but the whole world wants to know, what is this shift that we're talking about? I think I asked you a little bit about that earlier, but can you be a little bit more specific? First of all, let me say, a lot of people are afraid that it might be the end of the world. You know what I mean? But go into that a little bit more with me, if you mind.
Of course, the shift is our perception of the shift is relative to our relationship with time. And this is why we must change our perception of time in order to not fear the shift and to know that it is just a transition phase, that we are passing through the eye of the needle in order to wean ourselves of all of the lower energy spectrums that we have been in the last cycle. So this means that the veil is being peeled from the inside out and the outside in simultaneously, and this transition in consciousness is something that is very powerful, and with power comes the need for great stability. So our love is relative to the smoothness in which we transition, and Pancho, as well as many other elders and teachers, really want us to understand that this does not need to be feared.
Okay, right, exactly.
And this is very important because the moment that we are in fear, we forget that we chose it all. We forget that we love it all. We forget that we are here to be this.
I totally agree. And it's just, the fear of when you're not connected, I guess you live in fear. You know what I mean? And, being here and the people in the audience, I guess they don't smell the beautiful aromas that are in this room, that the incense that's being burned, the fire, the crystals. This is where we come from. This is who we are, and the remembering of who we are.
Indeed. And having a relationship to that which is not yet created, that lives in our prophecy of peace. Because anything that does not exist in our future of peace, within a future of equilibrium and awakening of our relationship, is not worth attention to reality now. And we need to wean ourselves from all of that which is no longer required.
So, William, what do you do on a daily basis? I mean, what's your mission? I know that you've been down to the land of the Maya. I know that you've studied with shamans. What's the message that you have just compacted into a couple of sentences about what it's all about, what you do?
What I do is unlock consciousness distortions. My intention is to raise the vibration of my awareness so that I can burn through all of the layers of illusion which have clouded my perception of what I know is so beautiful. So my highest intention is to express the beauty of creation in its divine design through ceremony, through healing, through any way that I can support what is beautiful and what is pure. So my practice really is doing good by my heart and living in my commitment to being in service, because I have come to accept that I did not come down here for myself. And that commitment is something that I honor very much, and I choose for it to give me great strength. And my message is to my family is trust in the purity of your own heart and never undermine your heart with the mentality that is less than what you know, what you feel, what you hold so true and dear above all that is within the illusions of our world. And it is so important that we lift our hearts and place it upon the highest perch within the tree that we live. Because as the waters rise and the emotions unlock and the energies flow, we will need to have found higher ground within ourselves.
Thank you so much. It's just been an incredible conversation that you and I are having today. We're going to continue on with our next segment in a little bit, and we're going to be speaking with these beautiful women that are here with us, with July, with Sasha, and with Juanita. And we're going to learn a little bit more about what they do and who they are and their mission, and getting the message out, which is, I believe, the same message that Pancho has. So I'm just very, very grateful. And they're going to play a little bit of music as we head on to commercial. Remember, you're listening to JJ. Pancho is Crystal Skull Hour. JJ and Radio Baptist Skull. And we'll be right back after these commercial breaks.